Hello, everybody that has joined. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We have book illustrator Courtney Wilk with us this evening, and we're so excited to chat with her. And before we go ahead and get into all the delicious, goody things we want to know about book illustration world and how that whole process works, BookHeart is hosting this event tonight. We're doing this live on BookHeart. BookHeart is a special edition marketplace. It is built by book lovers for book lovers. It is built for the collectors that love the art that goes into our special edition books. It's built for the people that enjoy the stories within and to also celebrate the authors who design these incredible things. And then illustrators like Courtney are able to take that work and transform it into the pieces that we know and love. So we're going to go ahead and chat a little bit about you, Courtney, and to kind of tee everybody up for you and what you've been doing behind the scenes, because that's one of the things about special editions, right? Like, we know the stories, we know the title, we see the author, but I mean, there's artists behind what we do and consume when it comes to these special edition books. So one of the big topics right now is that you are the artist behind FairyLoot special edition of Daggermouth. You did the sprayed edges, and then you also went ahead and designed for Carissa Broadbent's War of Lost Hearts trilogy. And so if y'all have not seen those books yet, they have been released already on FairyLoot's page. They're beautiful and they're incredible. And so I want to do a big shout out this evening to a friend of mine that I connected with through Bookstagram, and it's what.laura.reads. She's an incredible human being, and she is actually the one that connected BookHeart with Courtney this evening. And so Courtney, go ahead and tell us, hey, top of mind, like, how did you get into art world? Is this something where you were young and you got into it really early, or is it something like it took time to fashion this craft? Like, tell us all about you.
If I told you the whole story, we would be here all night. I would be doing that to you guys. Yeah, I loved art. I mean, art was my favorite subject in school. Everything was good. Everything was fine. Both my parents were teachers, and like high school comes around, and as a kid of teachers, they're like, "So what are you gonna do for like your college degree?" Because I was going to college. There was no like question about it, and I was like, I don't know. And they were like, "Well, what do you like?" And I was like, "Well, I like art." And you could see the look on their face. They were like, maybe pick something else. And I ended up just looking up things that I could do with art that I could somehow make a living with, and graphic design was one of them. And I was like, I'll do that. And like there was no like other thought process. I didn't do enough research. I was like, yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do. And they were like, that's great, fantastic. But that's what I did.
Awesome.
So I ended up getting like my degree at UCF because I live in Central Florida, for anyone who knows. And they have a graphic design program specifically, but it kind of goes across like all media. So it's like you'd have a painting class one time, and then you'd have like motion design and animation another time, and then you'd have your graphic design courses, and it was a lot. And then since then, I've just been a professional graphic designer with every job that I'm at, and I'm a full-time graphic designer now for like a very corporate company. I live in the corporate world. It's not that fun, but it's great. It pays the bills. And then this was just something I kind of picked up on the side unintentionally. A couple years ago, I attended like my first like book convention because I had just gotten into reading, and like I got an ad for one of those like come to a fantasy ball, and I was like, well, don't mind if I do. Maybe I'll go to that. And it was a book convention, and I ended up going, and I had a blast. My husband went with me, and he was so supportive, and he was fantastic, and everyone loved that my husband went with me. He was like the talk of the town, and there were just like I love talking to authors, and there were a lot of authors that I didn't know, but like for anyone who goes to book conventions, you'll see like the popular authors who have like lines around the corner, and then you'll have the authors that like it's their debut novel, and like no one's going to their table. And I felt awful about that. I don't know, like if I have too much empathy. I don't know what's going on, but like it broke my heart. So the next year we went, I made it like a mission of mine to make some sort of illustration for all the authors. I wasn't doing it to be like a book illustrator. That was not a thing. I was literally just like, I just want to make sure everyone feels special in some way and they leave like knowing someone likes them. And since then, I started posting on Instagram afterwards, and it kind of took off from there. And I didn't mean to. I was just like, oh, you guys like me? That's cool.
That's awesome. That's a great story to understand how you got into this, because again, I think from the reader perspective, we don't know that. And so that's
Yeah.
such a cool story for you to just, hey, I was just genuinely here. And this was a very authentic experience for me. And it translated into now what is happening for you and these great achievements. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm curious about if you're down to do a little rapid fire style question.
100%. Just
Okay,
go
okay,
ahead.
cool. All right, so we're gonna get to learn about Courtney a little bit more. So these are actually similar questions that we ask our authors, both whenever we do some webpage design over on BookHeart for authors, but these are a little bit more tailored for our chat tonight with Courtney. So, Courtney, go ahead, tell us, sprayed edges or a foiled case?
I think I would do myself a disservice if I didn't say sprayed edges.
Fair, fair. Are you a physical e-reader or audiobook reader?
I'm more of an e-reader, but I do dabble in physical and I dabble in audio as well. As long as it's dramatized, you got me. That's fine.
Nice. Do you have a favorite dramatized audiobook?
Zodiac Academy. It's coming out slowly but surely. They're like in book 6. We're 6.5 right now, but every 3 months it's like a gift that keeps on giving. Like
That's so fun. What about, do you annotate your books or do you keep them pristine?
I keep them clean. I couldn't do it. It would hurt my soul.
I feel that. I feel that. What about, this will probably be an easy one then. Do you dog ear your books or do you use a bookmark?
If you asked high school Courtney, I was dog earing everything. And now I'm like, how could I have ever done that? Like I look back and I cringe at myself. So no, no more dog earing.
Was that more textbooks? Because that's a little different, I will
No, like
say.
it was like actual books. And I was like, I don't know, like I would read all the time and there was never a bookmark on my person. I would be like flipping it over, creasing the spine, and now I'm like, why did I do that? Like that's so terrible.
What about a trope you'll read forever?
Oh my gosh. Is enemies to lovers a cop out? Like
No, no. I think there's some people that, that's a hot one. I don't know if it's everybody's favorite, but it's
yeah.
yours. So that counts.
That's
That's what's
definitely
important.
mine.
Yeah. What about a trope that you're so done with?
Oh my gosh. It would have to be, of course, like friends to lovers because of enemies to lovers. Like, obviously, I'm on the extreme side. No friends to lovers for me, and obviously, accidental pregnancy would be like the lowest of the low. Don't do that to me.
Fair point. Fair point. And it sounds to me like you like tension. You like there to be a
I
rift.
need the banter. I'm here for the banter more than I am for
Yes.
anything else. Like, I'm like, you guys don't even need to hook up for like 3 books. As long as y'all are arguing and bantering the whole time, I'm here for it. That's what I'm. It's all good.
Okay, morally gray or cinnamon roll?
Morally gray.
All right. All right. Standalone or series?
Um, I would probably say series.
Okay.
I'm here
Okay.
for the long haul.
Well, I mean, especially if you're doing Zodiac Academy as audio, like you are
Exactly.
in
I
it.
dedicated.
Favorite comfort reread or TV show or movie or album?
Read. It's the Zodiac Academy or Fourth Wing probably, and it's always the dramatized audio. Like if I'm like I need to feel like I'm being hugged. That's what I'm gonna listen to or read. Um, Another one is like Beast of the Briar series by Elizabeth Helen. That's a really quick, easy reread. I love. For music and stuff. Oh my gosh, and TV shows. Go to for TV shows is probably like Vampire Diaries. Like I'm not that original. And then for music, I'm like more in the rock metal kind of category. So like something with Sleep Token or like Motionless in White, some stuff like that. Yeah, I see Motionless in White in a couple weeks, so that's top of mind.
One of us, one of us. Hey, we love that. Super cool. What about whenever you're doing your amazing magical artwork and you're designing, what's your go-to drink and snack?
Oh, okay. So this is bad because when I'm in the zone, like it's like there's no there's no water, there's no snack. Like
Okay.
it's really bad. That's when I like forget to eat and my husband comes in and is like, "What have you been doing? Why haven't you drank water?" And I'm like, "My bad. I'm so sorry." um but I'm trying to think. I normally nibble on like grapes a lot. Grapes, I don't know. And then I'm on a health kick right now. So like it's just water for me. But a good hot chocolate can do special things.
It can inspire you,
Yeah.
perhaps. That's great. What about a book as an auto buy for you if blank?
Oh gosh. That's a great question. It's normally it has to be like an author that I love. Like there are certainly I have so many auto buy authors. Just for an example, Brittany Arena, who does A Dance with Lies, that duology, she just was like, "Oh, I'm doing another duology today," and I about died. I was like, "Yes, I will buy anything that you put out." Same thing with R.M. Gray, who does Nightweaver.
Yep.
Yes, and plus I love her as a person. So anything by them. Um, Other than that, it has to be like tropes, basically. There's nothing like a cover isn't gonna probably make me buy it because I'm just like, well, I don't know. And I also am terrible because normally almost all the books I read, I don't know the synopsis because that to me is a spoiler. Like I literally like someone will just recommend a book on like Instagram and be like, it's enemies to lovers. And I'm like, okay, that's
Perfect.
all I need to know. You don't need to tell me anything else. That's great.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Sometimes the synopsis gives a little bit too much. It's almost like a movie trailer, right? When you're
Yeah,
watching it, you're like, now I know all the big plot points. Like
exactly. I'm
it's
just like, well,
spoiled it.
obviously she gets picked or whatever it is. I'm like, no, I want to be on my toes. Like, leave me alone.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and pivot a little bit. We're going to go ahead and start to chat about what you're currently reading, and then start to talk to us about, does romantasy or any other genre that you read, does it feel different now that you're starting to work from within the space?
So I'm currently reading. I just started it last night. It's called Nobody's Quest. I think her name is like Alyssa something. I feel so bad.
Yes,
I don't
it's
know
got
it yet.
a key on the straight
Yes,
edge,
yes, it
right? Yeah,
does.
yes. I met her.
Like
I
it's
met her.
everywhere. I keep
Yeah.
seeing it everywhere. So I started that last night. And if things are different now, I mean, I'm currently doing what I did for BookCon last year because I'm still crazy, but I started really early this year, so now they're getting better illustrations because I have a little bit of time. But now I'm running out of time, so they're probably not going to be great towards the end. I apologize in advance, but so that kind of is dictating my TBR at the moment. I'm just like going down the list of every author. But me illustrating now, it's like, yeah, the only thing it changes is any like description of the landscape or something, I'm immediately like, oh wait, like I can't just like glaze over that. I have to be like, hold on, let me take that in, and then I have to highlight so that I can go back and be like, okay, that's what we're doing. And then it's fun at the end because I'll highlight a lot of different like scenes and stuff, and then I'll be like, but which one would I enjoy the most, or like which one can I like picture the most vividly, and that's just how it goes. So
Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. It is interesting to think about how you interpret what perhaps like PAs, when they do the work of content pulls, they're pulling the things that are differentiators of a book, things that are going to stand out to be able to then turn into advertising material, essentially. Whereas for you, you're looking at it from a critical lens of the descripting
yeah.
qualities. So that's really interesting. How did you kind of talked about like how you got into this space? What for you as an artist is something where you're like, this is my goal? Or like, what is that moment of, I think I made it? Like, I've made it. Because from my lens, first off, I'm going to give you some backstory about me. I was in art class in high school, and my guidance counselor had to pull me into a meeting and was like, yeah, you're not doing well in art class. And the reason was because we had this project where we had to design the front cover of a journal. And I did my surfboard and like an ocean scene. And the teacher felt that it was uninspiring. And I'm like, uninspiring? Like, I'm one of those people, I used to go and surf out in hurricanes when they would hit the North Carolina coast. I'm like, how is that not inspiring? Like, what are you talking about? But it's because art is subjective, right? And so they were like, maybe you should just do something else because this isn't for you. And so they had recommended to do journalism. So I ended up doing journalism in high school instead. But for me, whenever I think about like, art, I think about it from the lens of like, I could never do that anyway. So a win for me would be like, I made a graphic on Canva and I'm hella proud of it. And so for me to hear like you did something with FairyLoot, I'm like, this is the pinnacle. But what is it for you? Like, what is the I made it moment?
Oh, okay. First off, that was absolutely diabolical. Like the fact that I told you aside, like, and if it makes you feel better, coming from me, like I said, I went to college for graphic design. The professor I had, like, he had favorites, and it was very obvious favorites, and then the people who were not his favorite, like, didn't get enough feedback or whatever. And like, there were multiple times where it's subjective, and that's like the really sucky part because for someone who wants straight A's and all this other stuff, and you go to college for art, and you'd have one professor who'd be like, your stuff is great. And then you'd have another professor who was like, eh.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, what do you mean? Like, what? And like, he could never tell me what he didn't really like about my art. And then I remember specifically, like, towards the end of the year, like, when all of us are about to graduate, he's like, just so you guys know, because we were in a group of like 60 kids, like it was a smaller like program, and he was like, only like a handful of you, maybe like 4 or 5, are actually gonna like get a graphic design job. The rest of you might be like a flight attendant a year from now. And I was just like, what kind of inspiration is that? Like, so if it makes you feel better, I think about that all the time because I'm like, that man did not think I was going to be okay right now. And obviously I am.
Look
But
at you now.
yeah, I want to go back and be like, Victor, what? What are you talking about? But now it's crazy because to say that the pinnacle was FairyLoot, I never expected FairyLoot to reach out to me. That was not on my bingo card. That was nowhere near. I think my goal is probably like I want to do a book cover, but I want to do a book cover that is actually going to be like in a store. Like I want to go to like Barnes and Noble and be like, do you see that? Like
Yeah.
I did that. You know, like that would be really cool. And I hope I would get to that point at some point, but FairyLoot is perfectly fine. I am not complaining.
Yeah, I'm like, I like that's kind of like the upper echelon
Yeah.
of I'm like, wow, you know, I got booted the hell out of art class, and like
Yeah, literally.
I'm like, this is amazing. Like this has to be the moment. So this is really cool. Great timing to be able to chat with you during this really great achievement and momentous time for you. What about you know, how like talk about your first book related commission. How, like what is something that was really special that you remember about it apart from it being the first one for you?
So that was a lot, okay? Because like I did over like 100 gifts for these people, and I didn't expect anything back. And like when I started posting like things that I was doing this year, they were still all gifts. Like there's still every single time you see me post like next up on my romantasy book con mission, it's free. Like it's gifts. Like we're not doing. I haven't spoken to them. It's a total surprise for them. But like earlier on in the year, I was reached out to like a couple of times for commissions, and I straight up like couldn't bring myself to charge them money. I was like, it's okay. I will do it. And they would be like, what are you doing? Like, you can't do that. I'm like, no. Like, I'll do it for you. And it turned into, I remember specifically, I'm going to call out Lindsay Cummings. She does Ravenminder, who's
Yes.
amazing. She reached out to me and like, she kind of just threw out and she was like, if you would like to make something for my book, that would be great. And then she sent me the Ravenminder book. And I read it. And of course I loved it. And I did like the mountains, like the Sawteeth Mountains kind of thing. And then after that, she reached out again and was like, I'm paying you this time and you are going to take the money. And I was like, yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
I love that. That's such a
So
cool story about her. That makes me love her even more.
she
Wow.
has been so sweet. Like, and since then, like I did another one for her, which was like the main character and her like I can't even say that word. She's gonna hate me for it, but you know, the raven beast looking thing, okay? So
Yeah.
it's like a raven something. I don't know. She's gonna kill me for this. But anyway, so I did that scene for her and she loved that. And I mean, she even reached out to me, and I don't think this is something I can get in trouble for, but like she has a special edition coming out and she reached out to me to like do the map. And I've never done a map. And I'm just like, I mean, yeah, I'll do anything for you, ma'am. But so
Oh,
she's a great friend and person in general. So anyone who's listening, if you want to read a great book, Ravenminder is great. So and
yes.
book two, she just finished book two. So you have great things to come as well.
Love that. That's super cool. I love hearing that about an author who was like the impetus behind like giving you that little kick in the butt of like, you can do this and I want you to do this and I'm
Yeah.
going to pay you for it. So very cool. What about the opportunity with FairyLoot specifically? And I think you kind of alluded to this. It sounds like they found you, or was this something where like all artists apply and then FairyLoot kind of does their due diligence? Like, how does that work?
So I have literally no idea. I could not tell. I can't tell anyone the secrets to do it. I mean, it was just like earlier this year. I want to say it was like in March, and you know, like my account isn't big still. Like, I mean, I love my 800 and something followers. Thank you guys. But
Yeah.
like before, I in March I only had like 300, and somehow like FairyLoot messaged me, like DM'd me, and I straight up like I was at the gym on the Stairmaster watching Netflix, and like I get like the little like FairyLoot has sent you a private message, and I was like, and you could see like my face, I could see my like my reflection in my phone because I was that close to my phone, and I was like, what do you mean? And I straight up was like, this is fake. This is somebody else. Like, you know, like I was like, this is a fake account. This is a scam.
They were hacked.
So like I went in and it was literally just like, hey, we'd love to have you on a project if you're willing. Send us your email if you want to talk further. And I literally was like, and I straight up like I had to hit that like view profile thing in my private message like 20 billion times because I'm looking at the 600 something thousand follower count and I'm like, can people scam me through this? Like this is I literally was like, this is fake. This is totally fake. And it wasn't. And I'm still like to this day like, what? And I had to come home and I was giddy. I was like crying after like I realized, of course. And I have to come home and explain to my husband what the heck FairyLoot is. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to be like, this is a big deal. Okay. Like, I'm like, you don't understand how big of a deal this is. And he was like, uh-huh. And I was like, no. Like I was just like, I had to do it. This is the best way I explained it. I was like, okay, so you know how like you go to Target, Barnes and Nobles, there's that copy of the book and it's very popular. And then I was like, and then authors have their own special editions where like they can sell. And then I was like, and then there's these like book boxes that do special editions. And I was like, now think of like the biggest book box out there. And I was like, and that's who messaged me. And he was like, And I was like, look at the follower count, dude. And he was like, and then he got excited. And then he was like, oh my gosh, that's kind of crazy. I was like,
Oh,
yeah. So every time they message me with something, I'm literally like, pinching doesn't even help anymore. I'm still, every time, I'm like, you're lying. You don't want me again, right? Like, that's crazy.
that's awesome. That's such a cool story. I feel like that's one of those moments of like, if you're an artist and you're listening to this video out in the ether at some point, like it's one of those things of don't give up. Like,
Yeah.
don't listen to the professor at the art
Yes,
school that's going to tell
exactly.
you, you're not going to amount to anything. Like, don't stop. Like, don't ever
Yes,
give up on the things that bring you joy. That's so cool.
exactly.
What about on like when we think about let's see, I'm pulling up my questions here. How much of we're going to pivot a little bit to talk about Daggermouth. How
Okay.
much of and you can speak, I guess, specifically to Daggermouth, but maybe even other works. And you talked about this a little bit with Raven Miner, with Lindsay Cummings. But how much of, hey, you've now gotten this, objective of you've got to create this art piece. Do you read the book in its entirety to help draw on inspiration for you? Are you like one of those people where I got enough information, I can start my design process because I'm on a timeline? What about that component?
So it depends on like who I'm working with, for sure. Okay, so with FairyLoot, it's a little different. The timelines are a little shorter. So, believe it or not, y'all can kill me after this. It's okay. I totally take accountability. I have not read Daggermouth yet. That was like on my TBR. They were like, please, Edge, and I was like, what? So just to use that as an example, there are some people like Lindsay Cummings who was like, I would love you to read the book and then make the art. And then there are some who are like, I want it now. And then they send me like screenshots of like descriptions and they're like, can you do it with this? And then I start sending like sketches and stuff because I'm like, if the sketch does it okay, then yeah, like let's go. And that's kind of what happened with Daggermouth. I was just like, they were able to give me a lot of descriptions and I was like, we will try. And I was like,
Cool.
here you go. And yeah, and then we just moved on from there. But I always tell like I always give authors, if like authors specifically reach out to me, which I love working with authors themselves. Like that's just something more special in my opinion. Um, I always give them the option when they do like want a commission from me is I'm like, I will gladly read your book. It just takes longer. So I'm like, if you want me to like do my take on whatever it is, yeah, let me read the book. But if you need it like now and you don't really care for me to read the book, then you can send me descriptions. But I'm always
That's,
down to read the book.
that's fascinating. Have you ever read a book after you've created the art component, whatever component it may be that your deliverable was on? You read it and then you're like, oh, I actually would have changed. Like I would have maybe done the X, Y, and Z. Have you ever had that moment?
I haven't yet, but I'll let you know because my thing is like Daggermouth was on my list forever. I actually met the author last year at Romantic BookCon, and I gave her like my little present. I don't even think she knows who I am, like even like with the fact that I did the edges. But she was so sweet. H.M. Wolf was great. I had read the Book of Sin before, and it was like she was like Daggermouth is you can pre-order it for 99 cents and like be given this giveaway for like the book. It was like a special edition of like the Book of Sin. And I was just like, I mean, it's 99 cents. I will pre-order it. So like I even have it. Like I have it. It's just because I've been on this like I have to make gifts for every author ever that's going to the BookCon. Like that's just priority for me because I'm I told myself I have to do it all because I did it last year, and now I'm just like, but they're gonna know. Like, if I miss a couple of authors, somehow they're gonna talk to one another, and then I'm gonna feel worse. That like the two authors that I missed didn't get one. So after Romantic BookCon this year, my husband made me promise that I'm not doing it again next year because I agree it's a lot, and this is too much for me, especially now that I have commissions and FairyLoot and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So this will be the last year, and as soon as I'm done with Romantic BookCon, Daggermouth will be read. But at that point, I might actually have the Fairy Loot edition,
Yeah.
so I might be reading it at that point.
Wow, what a cool moment of I designed this
Yeah.
and it's in your hands. Like that's super cool.
Yeah.
I want you to send a message to us that day of like, I'm holding this.
Oh,
like
I will be
please do that.
posting it. I will
Yes.
be crying that I have something in my hands
Yes.
that I've worked on. And like also that's a good segue too, is just like the amount of time these special editions take is insane. And like I wish everyone like kind of understood that because like the printing process is diabolical. Like I mean you just the layers have to be right. And like from an artist point of view, it's a lot of back and forth to make sure everything is perfect for the printer, which takes a lot more time than you think it does. So there's times to like tweak the art, and then sometimes it's still sent to print and still something's messed up because there's a lot of test prints and it goes back and forth. So I think I'm on like over 10 books that I've worked on this year that I'm somehow going to get a physical copy for, and I don't have them yet because I might not get them till next year. I have no idea.
Wow, that is interesting to think about because I mean we see it in the collector space of there's certain entities that they'll push something out, everybody gets hype and excited, and sometimes the book doesn't end up in your hands until well after the fact, to the point sometimes people are like, I forgot I even ordered this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I think it's one of those things because it's one thing to do traditionally published route. Like you've got your art, you've got your naked hardback, and you've got, bare edges, right? Like it doesn't take a whole bunch of components to build into it. Whereas you've seen it now from a lens of this is very technical and it's
Yeah.
task saturated because I mean, you were the artist that did edges. And I
Yeah.
presume there's different artists that'll do like your end paper, that'll do your hardcover, your dust jacket. So there's multifaceted components to finally getting a product. And then the product, as you explained, goes through multiple renditions of testing to make sure is this perfect, and then it goes through. So if you had to give like an estimated, and not specific to FairyLoot, but
Yeah.
like your overall experience in this space so far, like from the time of you've been reached out to do project to the time it is finally in readers' hands, like what would you say like the typical average timeline is? Like 12, 18? Like is that
I
typical?
I would say just from like the experience that I've had is like well, it depends on like how many copies are being like published or like or how many like they're actually giving out into the world because some of them it's a smaller quantity so it's not as hectic. But I would definitely say probably like at least 9 months and that's like at least so
That's
like
making a
it's
baby.
a
That's
lot.
making a book baby. We are out here making book babies. Wow. That's
It's
incredible.
crazy.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you have to do your craft, and you need the
Yeah.
time and the space, and that to get in that mindset of like I can create, and I'm going to make this really
Yeah.
incredible outcome. And so it does take time. I love that you wanted to go ahead and touch on that because that is something I think people feel like a time crunch. And
Yeah.
in the age of social media, everything is instant gratification, right? It's like the
Yeah.
McDonaldization of consumerism, and we want it hot, fresh, and ready right now. But that's not how art always works. So that's really great to hear your insight on that. What about your interpretation or like a directive? You touched on this a little bit. Is this something where you found, hey, there's a designer, they tend to have more of a directive, or is it more of like author gets to drive it whenever you're working in these spaces?
Again, it kind of depends. Um I work with like other book boxes as well. So like it definitely is like sometimes they give you some creative like liberties where they'll give you like kind of the base and it's not too many details so you can kind of figure out the rest of the landscape or they're very specific and they're always in contact with the author. So it's normally like you send it to them and they kind of either give you edits, they might give you edits before they even send it to the author and you have to do that. Or they'll be like, looks great on my end, sending to the author. And then the author has to either give edits or say, great, and we just hope for the great every single time.
Yeah, well, I mean, to that end, can you talk about a time where like you maybe perhaps received feedback and it's in stark contrast to the direction you were going artistically? How do you navigate that?
Um, I don't know if I can think of a specific time where it's been like so different that like I've had to change a lot.
That's good then.
Yeah, no, normally it's like just like specifics of the thing where they had Easter eggs and it's like, oh, I did this and they're like, oh, but it's more in like this style and they'll like kind of send me like a example. But putting aside book boxes like author specific, I just did a commission for the girl who's in the Fantasy Fangirls podcast,
Yeah.
Nicole, like
Yeah.
one half of it, and she was so fantastic to work with. But like when we do edits, like it's almost like every author feels bad about giving edits because probably because they're used to getting edits and it's a
Yeah.
rough time. But like I always encourage authors that I work with that I'm like, this is your baby. Like you need to remember this is your baby. Don't say yes just to make me feel good. I want you to be 100% feeling good about this. Otherwise, like I didn't do my job.
Yeah.
So like we went through a lot of edits on hers, but and every single time she was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, don't girl, don't apologize. This is your
Yeah.
like debut book. I want you to be like, this is it. So like I'm totally like edits are totally fine. Normally they're pretty small, so I'm trying not to jinx myself. Of course,
Yeah.
now that I'm saying that, I'm gonna
No,
get
I mean,
something that's very different in the next
yeah,
few
it's
days.
it's the nature of it. I would,
Yeah,
thinking through my, non-art brain, right? Because I clearly don't have one thanks high school trauma. It's like you would assume that there's quite a bit of back and forth to
yeah,
come to the final outcome that makes everybody happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have said there's got to be that moment of like, hey, but it's good to know like authors are a part of that process
Oh
too.
yeah,
That's cool. That's very
100%.
cool.
And we also do like so many renditions that they see. It's not like they see the sketch and then they see the final. It's like, here's the sketch, here's the outlines, here's the color blocking. You still not vibing with those colors? Because I can change them. And then it's like, here's some more detail. We good? And then you just keep going. Like,
That's great.
so
That's
yeah.
cool. And then we as the readers who collect these pretty things,
Yeah.
we love it. We love it. What about for the War of Lost Hearts uh trilogy? Those edges, those are really cool. And I'm gonna tell you candidly, I out of all the ones, because I know it was like this boom, all of a sudden everybody
Yeah.
was doing them. I loved that that set had a cohesive edge. Like and then I find out through Laura about you, and I'm like, oh my God, it's serendipity. Like that's the one. Like that's the one that called to me. So when we talk about the War of Lost Hearts, did you ever feel, especially for the characters on that edge, was there like a pressure you ever felt about illustrating that piece that people have already imagined for years? Because it's been a while, right? Like, do you ever feel that?
Girl, I about died when they were like, "Oh, we're doing it for this series," and I was like, "Oh, so you hate me?" Like that's a lot. That's a lot of pressure. And I personally, if anyone looks at my page, I don't love character art, and not because I shouldn't say I don't love character art. I love character art. I hate doing character art. Character art
Okay.
is a lot to live up to. I'm very much more of a give me a landscape. Give me a dragon. I will do any creature that you want. But like as soon as it comes to people, I don't feel like very confident in myself. Like that's when I start second guessing myself. So when they were like, we're putting the couple on the side, I was like, and I'm screwed. But okay, like we will keep going. And the way I had to change that man's hair probably 16 times because it was not giving exactly. I was just like, we got through it. It's fine. But like it was a lot. And I knew the pressure was there, especially since like not only people love the series, we love the author. Like, I mean, even like, come on, she did the Serpent of the Wings of Night or whatever. Fantastic. Like, she doesn't ever fail to give us something that we love. So I was like, I was about to pee my pants the whole time I was doing it. But it's done. And you can all know the pressure is there. Even when I got Daggermouth was blowing up. And I was like, can y'all give me a tiny one? Just like a tiny one and I'll be good. And they were like, no, definitely
No.
not. So
Yeah, it's baptism by fire for
literally.
this. Yeah. Wow. Well, you bring up a good point about, hey, this isn't something I feel an overabundance of confidence with, and I struggle with this particular component. Can we talk a little bit about how there's been a little bit of a surge in keyboard trolls who will get in the comments of when these beautiful editions are released online and they take it upon themselves to type in blah blah blah, whatever it is. It's something that is not coming from a place of being positive or helpful or joyous. And what is that like for you as an artist to see that? And please use this platform to perhaps give some statement to redirect people or make people pause and reflect before they do that type of nastiness.
I think the best way to convey this is to just tell everyone my like experience with this because it's real. You know how like everyone out there, it's common knowledge on kind of the book side of Instagram to be like, if you're gonna leave a negative review about an author's book, don't tag them. You know? Like
Yes.
don't bring it to their attention. It's kind of rude and it's like you don't want to put that in their minds because again, just like art, because reading books are art, it's subjective. What I like, you might not like. That's totally fine. But to say, like, when I got the first message from FairyLoot being like, hey, you want to collab? I was like, I had received my first hate comment, like, ever. Like, literally, like, within that week. And the way I literally could not illustrate for like 2 to 3 weeks because I was like so in my head about it. That's not a joke. So, like, I
Oh,
wish I could have been that person to be like, that was nothing, you know? Or like be like, there's a lot of people who once they get one, they're like, I've made it. And I'm like, I wish I could have been you guys because it really bothered me. So when like Fairy Loot happened, of course I was super excited. I was doing stuff for them. And then it came time to be like, I don't know when they're gonna announce things. Like that's not something shared. And honestly, I kind of prefer that because the anxiety for when they're gonna post it is crazy. So like when they do, you'd think as an artist, I would be like, yeah, like everyone knows that I did that now. No, I am looking through the comments immediately, being like, did someone say something nasty about my edges? Does someone not like them? You know? And with FairyLoot and them having such a large platform, they have like thousands of comments. So it's not just me too. Like, because I'm so concerned about this, my husband is looking through the comments to make sure, like, to prepare himself to see, like, if he needs to
Oh,
come, console me. And my friends are doing the same thing. And it's just like, I also was never getting like FairyLoot videos before I started working with them. And I'm assuming my phone is listening to me and it's just like, oh, you like FairyLoot now. Here's all these videos. And then all of a sudden I'm getting all these videos on my feed where it's like someone's unboxing the book of the month and they're like, I really hate this art. Like, it's just not it. Like, why would they? And I'm like, is this what I have to look forward to? Because that's not it. Like,
oh,
so, and like because like every book that they do, a, an artist does a different part of it. Like, you're never going to get a book that's like completely designed by the same artist, which I do like. Like, they give like everyone a platform to go on. But it's like, people will be like, oh, there's not character art on the dust jacket. Like, they should have just made the hardcover the dust jacket because that looks better. And it's like,
oh, interesting.
y'all, you don't like realize like that artist is probably looking in those comments like constantly because this is a big deal for them, and it's probably something that they should like take the day to celebrate. And instead we're like, who's saying mean things about us? So I would just, if you're watching this, if you have negative things to say, maybe do the, if you don't have nice things to say, don't say them at all. Or, but on the other side of that, if you love something about it, really say that. Like, okay, say you didn't like the hardcover. You can say you really love the dust jacket. Like,
Yep.
you can do selective truths. And then also, if your friend designed it, just saying, like, you can go in the comments and be like, oh my gosh, those edges are so cool. Books to Jim by like killed it. That would be great.
Yes. Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, War of Lost Hearts, there were so many editions, and there were so many things in the comments where it was like, well, Alcrate did it better, or like whatever, insert here.
Yeah.
At that point, don't say that. Go to Alcrate and be like, this was great. So
Yeah.
you have options. But yeah, I think just people forget that the artist put a lot of time into it. And also, okay, for an example, the character art wasn't on the dust jacket. That probably wasn't the artist's choice.
Thank
You
you.
know?
Yes.
So just know that, like, and who knows who that choice was? We don't know if it was the book box, the author, whatever.
Yep.
It's all under lock and key. I'm just saying, like, if they were given a description and they were like, hey, here's like, we want like a hand lettered dust jacket. And then people in the comments are like, it should have been character art. It's not that artist's fault. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. To your point, you're given a directive.
Yeah.
You do your best and you pour all of your talent into making this piece of magic, which I could never do and most people can't do. Let's be real. And yeah, it's like it's out of your hands at that point.
Yeah.
Things end up like some of those decisions are outside of your scope of what you were
Yeah.
brought on to do. And so yeah, that's such a great point. And I hate to hear that you receive any flack.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, my background was actually in healthcare, and you can get 100 patients that you see over a span of like 2 days because you're seeing 50 patients a day in clinic. And sometimes all it takes is that one person that would say, thank you for making me feel better, or thank you for taking care of me. So to your point about if there is something you like, be vocal about that. Lean into the positive things.
Exactly.
And people gravitate to that, right? Like they want to be around the people in the room that are just overjoyed and happy and lively and excited about life. And that perpetuates on the internet. And you're a human being. And now hearing like your husband has been drawn into like, I have to comb through the comments to preface how my partner is going to receive this. Like you guys are human beings, and it doesn't have to be that. Like books are joy. Like they make us happy. The art that goes into them makes us happy. And if you don't like it and you don't have nothing nice to say, we said it here. You don't have to say anything at all. You can go take your little keyboard keys and go right on off.
And another thing of note, like, the book boxes, they check those comments. So I'm just saying, like, if there is something that everyone wants to see, like, say they want to see character art on the dust jacket, saying that they really like the character art on the edges or on the hardcover instead of just being like, I don't like the dust jacket because it doesn't have character art, the more they hear, oh, you guys love character art, they might be more inclined to put that on the dust jacket. So like, it's just like, if you want more of something, you can say what you like, you just don't have to tear down someone else. So
Exactly. That is well said. That is well said. And I'm so glad that you were able to say that. And I know you don't speak for all artists, but
yes.
I mean, as someone who loves collecting books, it's hard to sometimes see that of like, you didn't have to say that. That was really ugly. So yeah, that is great. Thank you for allowing us to have the space to be able to discuss that kind of topic.
Yeah.
What about, how there's this boom right now of special editions. At least it feels that way anyway. This could be one of those things I'm on the inside looking even further
Yeah.
in. Who knows? But when it comes to like foil cases and sprayed edges and reverse dust jackets, do you feel like the space is changing as far as the demands put on artists for creative briefings?
Um, no, I don't. I don't want to say like I'm glad it's booming. I'm glad that so many people love it, and I think right now specifically because of like we're all anti-AI, like as artists and authors and all this other stuff. And I almost want to say that's causing more of the boom because everyone is like, we want real artists, we want real authors, all that good stuff. So it's like, what else can we give you? Oh, we can give you more art inside this book. And then just everyone is doing it. And same thing with like, there's book rebinders and everything. I think that's almost everyone's response in just like embracing more of the art side, which like, I look at it as a good thing. Um, I just wish that like that also comes with cons because there are AI artists, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I that's all I could say about that, I guess.
That's
Yeah,
good. That's a good. So it is a boom, but it's a positive boom.
that's what I
And
look at it as, at least.
yeah, and
At
that
least,
you bring up a good point about the timing of AI, and there's the point about like there's generative AI, there's assistive AI, which assistive AI is more of like if you're combing through an Excel data set and you're like, I need to find all the
yeah,
values greater than this and turn it into this little wonky other document, right? Like there's that, but the
yeah,
generative is like it is a full on. I'm going to use whatever
yeah,
algorithm thing and make me. I want you to write a book about vampires with big booty cheeks.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's not it. That's not it. That's not what you've lost the plot, my friend.
No, literally.
So I think that is kind of the differentiator, and I think some of that is getting like you see it to where people, oh, this is AI, and I think it is getting to a point of like it's getting hard for people to discern. Is that AI? Like it's
Yeah,
beautiful, but you don't know. And I think like my parents' generation especially, they
yeah,
really don't. I mean, they don't. And like, hey, look at this thing, and I'm
yeah,
like, that is like a physically
yeah.
impossible dynamic on a video. Like that is abhorrently fake. And they're like,
Mhm.
oh, I thought someone was really good at gymnastics. I'm like, absolutely, nobody's a noodle. Okay. So it's one of those things of like art. I would love to hear it from you in time what it'll look like for you and how it changes the landscape because it's some of them are like I had no idea. You really
Yeah.
didn't know. Do you find that it's easy for you as an artist to be able to quickly discern this was not made by a human, like this lacked a human touch?
For the most part, but like I do have to say, like, yeah, it's getting better. I've even had authors that trust me reach out to me and be like, hey, because they don't want to like insult the artist by being like, are you doing AI or like no? So they'll come to me and they'll be like, hey, I need your opinion. Like, do you think I should commission this artist or not? And my go-to one when I like genuinely can't really tell, like I'm like, it could go either way, like it's kind of on the line.
Yeah.
And then you get in this like really weird space where you're like, I also don't want to accuse another artist of using AI and hurting them.
Yeah.
So my main like suggestion to authors when they reach out to me about that is I'm always like, yes, but make sure, and I was like, and I hate to do this, but like make sure you ask for edits because an AI artist is going to have a lot of trouble doing those edits that you have and then making it look correct, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're gonna like generate another image in that space and then try to do something different. And it's a lot harder for them to actually like cover that up.
That's interesting.
So
So it's kind of like our earlier part of the conversation where you're like, yeah, you have to get feedback and you hope it's really good feedback. It's almost like you want authors
yeah,
to instill, push for an edit.
yeah,
That's like your litmus test of is
yeah.
this real or not? That's great. I love that you shared that advice so
No,
that
you're
our
good.
authors
Yeah.
can listen
The,
to that. That's great.
some other ones that a lot of artists I've seen like on threads on Instagram, like they do, they're like always show the layers, always show like time lapses and stuff. And I say this because I was already accused once because my first hate comment was very gross. And it was literally just like, so you're using AI and you're tracing. And I was literally like, ma'am. So
Wow.
I respectfully like commented back. But yeah, my main thing is like, not every artist like process is the same. So just because my process isn't your process, that doesn't mean I'm AI automatically. That's like the people who don't like a book and now they're like, oh, well, that must be an AI author because I didn't like their book. And it's like, well, let's back up there for a second. So I'm always open, and I'm always like, I would rather an author actually ask me, so I could literally be like, well, I can work with you and we can do edits and we can make sure this is perfect for you. But like, not everyone will do that correctly, you know? So
Yeah.
like, we're just in a weird space now, and it
Yeah.
kind of sucks. And so for me, like I said, like I don't mind authors reaching out to me and me giving like my opinion on that artist. But yeah, for the authors listening, final thing, ask for an edit, even if it's a small thing. Maybe not like change the color of this, but like just enough of a position where they would have to change something else around that wouldn't be easily changed by someone who is just circling it and being like, please change. Maybe do the hands. Maybe do the hands. That might be smart.
Hands are hella hard.
Exactly.
It's kind of funny that, you know, AI struggles even with hands because it's
Yeah,
like we don't know how to do hands either. Hands are hard. Okay,
they're
they're
really
hard.
hard. Why do you think I hate character art?
It's
Don't
the
give me
hands
the
or the hair.
hands.
Was it the hands or the hair? Is that your
It's
least
the
favorite?
hands and the face. The face, like, if you notice too, like any character art on my page, I rarely do a face. I'm like, they're turned outside the window. I'm like, I can do the body build, I can do all of that. Everything is great. Until you make me do some eyes and some like structure. No, thank you.
We actually here. There's someone who has joined. Her name is Kimberly Marr, and she is the founder and owner of Her Little Bookmark. It is
Okay.
the world's first and only vibrating bookmark. She has the utility patent, so this is her special baby. She actually has. I'm going to show you this. She has. This is her packaging for it, and it looks like a
Oh,
little
it's
book.
cute. It's a little
Okay,
book. Yeah.
it's cute. So she actually just asked in the comments. She said, "Would you ever do packaging?" And we've talked before because I'm like, "Oh, special editions, like love it." And
Yeah.
she's like, "What if we did a little edge?"
Straight
So she
edges.
just asked, "Would you ever be down to do packaging?"
I would be open to it. Just message me after BookCon in October.
There you
Like,
go. There you go. There you go, Kim. Hey. I know she's probably kicking her feet over this.
yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. Love that. She said, "Ooh, custom with authors." I don't want to speak on Kim's behalf, but there are maybe some authors that really love Her Little Bookmark. So you might get to get some creative direction, perhaps, from some people. So
Yeah.
I'll let you guys connect and chat more. So that would be cool. I want it
Yeah.
on my shelf, whatever you guys make.
Cool.
That's awesome. So, you know, before we go ahead and kind of dial it down, we had some questions from members of the BookHeart community. And so a couple of them include, they were asking about apps or devices that are your preference for when you design.
Okay, so this is gonna be a lot. So we're gonna set it. So we have the trusty Procreate, like with my iPad. That
Okay.
is the bulk of like any illustrative thing that I do. But as a graphic designer, I am addicted to like obviously the Creative Cloud with like Adobe Illustrator. Illustrator is like another of my baby. So a lot of times when I'm doing illustrative work or like book covers or stuff, I start with all my illustrative pieces in Procreate and then I put them in Illustrator so that I can like make it perfect for printing because Procreate, although I love it, it doesn't do well with like just certain dimensions. It's weird. And I'm always trying to make sure like the quality is perfect so that I can do it. So I just kind of focus on doing a artboard that can give me the best quality so that when I put it in Illustrator, everything's fine. Um, illustration wise, obviously. I'm going to say this and I'm going to regret it. I also do video and animation. I'm not doing that for the book community yet. I'm not ready for that. So,
Fair.
but that obviously After Effects is my go-to for that. Um, yeah, I would just say those are my top three most used apps ever, probably.
I've seen some artists whenever they do like a live or they've just shown a video of when they're doing their process. There's like it looks like a video game controller. Do you use one of those? Do you know what I'm talking
A
about?
video game controller?
It's the crazy. It looks like a video game controller, and it's got like the scroll thing. It has like it's insane. I'm gonna have to send you a
Yeah, you
picture
have
of it
to
after.
send me a
It
video
looks,
just
and
so I
it's
can
like
be
this
like,
thing where like they're coloring with one hand, but the other hand is like zooming, magnifying, pulling in and out. It'll scroll. It's like so they're able to work in like multiple dimensions and layers without pausing and like scrolling on a screen. Like it's a fluid thing. And I was like, does she do that? Because that's like fascinating to watch.
you have to understand, like, I play video games with my husband on my PC, and like right now we're playing that like the Mecha Chameleon game, which is like you paint yourself into the camouflage. It's great. The way I take 40 billion years because I have to use both hands is ridiculous because I'm literally just like I don't even know what I'm doing in the hands. So that honestly sounds terrifying to me, but I will check it out just to,
Yeah.
just to see what's going on.
I'll have to see where I can find that so I can send it your way. But
Who knows?
it's fascinating.
It might change my
How
life.
it might. There you go. And the next thing you know, you're whipping up some wild design for Kim's her little bookmark technique.
Exactly.
What about what is your like? You've done technically dystopian because you did the edges for Daggermouth. You've been heavy with romantasy. Is there a genre that you're like, ooh, I really enjoy this one, or is there a genre that perhaps you're like, I really want to do something for that, like one you've never
Um,
done, like sci-fi or horror?
Romantasy is my baby. That is just something that like I found and like no book compares anymore. I'm in a book club where it's like you can put in whatever book. They gave me like a thriller last time, and I don't know about y'all, but like when I'm reading a book and I'm not vibing with it, everything is predictable to me. Like I figured out like the whole thing because I'm not like that engrossed in the book, but when I'm engrossed with the book, the littlest of things I'm like, that was a plot twist, and it wasn't even a plot twist. Like I'm just like so amazed. So like I've read a lot. Like I would read growing up, I read in high school, I like all throughout. I took like a little break in college, but other than that, like I don't mind horror. It's not my favorite. I'm a baby. I can't even watch like scary movies without my husband. So like don't know if that's gonna be something that I'm gonna be reading right before I go to bed. Um I don't mind like normal romance. I don't mind dark romance. Anything with the romance thing. I mean, I can do like regular fantasy where there's no romance. That's totally fine. I did the is it Red Rising?
Yeah,
I read that. My
yeah.
husband was like, "You have to read this," and I was like, "Got you." So I guess I can dabble in sci-fi, but as part of like what I like to illustrate and why I've like put Romancy Book Illustrator on my Instagram, I'm like, I would like to stay in this space
In that
just because
genre.
I
Yeah.
love I love the community and I love basically all the authors. Like there's never gonna be an author that reaches out to me that I'm gonna be like, absolutely not. I will not work with you. Like I would be like,
Yeah.
oh, you write romantasy? Cool. Send me the book. Like
That's awesome. Did you design that piece in your background?
I did.
What is
I'm
that a
like,
mural? You painted the mural?
yes, it's a mural. I just redid my office. I love it. I'm gonna have to like give you a little
What?
but
Look at that castle. Can you imagine if I did that? It would just look like it would look dystopian and sci-fi unintentionally. That is beautiful. That's
thanks.
beautiful.
I appreciate
Wow.
it.
That's so cool. What about what has been a fantasy world that you've crafted so far that's been one that you're like, "Oh, I really love that."
Um, a Dance with Lies. So like any like landscape from that. I'm like, what? I don't have my Instagram open. So like, wait, let me open my iPad. I'm trying to think of like another one that Black Warden, by Sierra Hartford.
Okay.
Amazing. Her whole like thing is amazing. I have I can't believe I didn't say this. The Beast of the Briar series that I'm
Yeah.
currently working on 20 billion for. Just so everyone knows, that's not commissioned. I am just obsessed, and that's a problem. So they're very supportive. Every single time I draw something for them, they're like, "Thank you," and I'm like, "You don't understand. I love you guys." But they have like 7 realms in their books because there's 7 books. So
Oh,
I've been drawing every realm as the books come out because every book focuses on a different realm. So like their 6th book comes out in a couple weeks. Loved it. So I'm working on that right now because I got the arc. And then
nice.
their last book comes out in October. So I'll be working on that. But those, I love the series. And it's like, of course, it's like seasonal realms. So I get to make beautiful summer realm. And it just, it makes my heart happy every single time I work on them.
That's
So
so
that one for
cool.
sure.
I love it. I love that you get passionate about it too. I feel
Yeah.
like that translates probably really nicely whenever you get to do some of these pieces as well. What about, let's see, probably one of our last ones. Where can everyone find you? Let's do that. Tell us, because you have your Instagram, right? So
Mhm.
tell us about like if you're an author watching this, if you're Kim from Her Little Bookmark, or someone that's catching this on YouTube, where can people find you such that they can connect with you and have your beautiful work displayed?
So it's just Instagram. Like I used to have a TikTok where I would blab about books and it was the same handle. It's still alive, but like I'm not active on it. So if anyone follows me on there, don't do it. But then I'm strictly on Instagram at this point and my DMs are always open. I keep in my I keep it updated like what I'm doing with commissions in my profile. So like if they're closed or not. I never want to close my commissions completely. I'm always like there's a wait list. Just DM me and I will work with you. Another thing that I would like to note is if you are an author and you reach out to me for a commission and the first thing they ask is what's your commission price? And then this is going to be crazy, but this is just what I do. Because I work full time and this is kind of like a part-time thing for me and I want to still love it. There was a few times in the very beginning where I did give prices and I don't know, like it made it too much like work for me and it was almost like I didn't want to do it because it was work. So
Okay.
I tell every author that DMs me who wants to be on the list, that it's free, which means I have a link in my bio, which is like one of those like buy me coffee links.
Yep.
So I'm literally like, I'm gonna make this for you. We're gonna work together. But whatever you want to pay me, pay me. I don't care if it's $5. I don't care if it's 50. But I also want to be able to keep it that way because like if a small author who's like just publishing their debut novel, I don't want to charge them a crazy amount just because they like my work and they want it done by me. Like if they can only afford to pay me $20, that's fine. Like I just want to make sure that they feel
Wow.
good and in the space. So, and that's just another thing. I don't ever plan to make this a full-time thing, which is crazy, but like I like my balance right now. Where I do the things that I need to do to pay the bills during the
Yeah.
day, and then this is like a passion project of mine during the nighttime. So, and I want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
So, if anyone does want to reach out to me, that's the rules. So, and I know I've worked with smaller authors and they do really appreciate that. So, that's my
Very
little
cool.
pitch.
We love that. We love that. Well, thank you so much, Courtney, for this awesome conversation. Go ahead, make sure that you follow Courtney. Give her some follows over there, please, on her Instagram. Check her out. And if you are getting the FairyLoot edition of Daggermouth, the FairyLoot edition of the War on Lost Hearts trilogy by Carissa Broadbent, go ahead and look at that edge because tonight you got to talk to the artist that did that. Very cool, Courtney. Thank you so much for your time. And we look forward to seeing more of your art as you continue along this journey. And I know that it's not full time for you, but if you ever so change and you want to do full time, we are rooting for it. But we're also rooting
Thank
for you
you.
now too. And we respect your balance. But thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This was a blast.
Yes.
I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Awesome. We'll chat again soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.